It may sound counterintuitive, but knowing our weaknesses is actually a great tool to help build our strengths. The other day, my husband and I were getting ready to leave for church, and we, as most families do, really struggle to get out of the house on time. I am the chief culprit to this. I want to have everybody enjoy their morning. I want to have my coffee. I want everybody to eat their breakfast. I want people to be peaceful. He wants us to be on time. He's very good at getting us out of the house on time, and I'm very good at creating and cultivating kind of a nice, warm environment at home, which doesn't help us get out of the house on time. So in that situation, what I do as a strength is really not a strength. And being partnered up with my husband, who's got that set of strengths, is a great asset. Jane Eyre once said that the shadows are just as important as the light. And that's a great quote to keep in mind when we're thinking about our weaknesses. The shadows, the things that we don't do as well, are just as important as the things that we do really well. For me, it's good to know that I am not so good at getting out of the house on time, because that can help me form partnerships. Knowing what you're not good at helps you get the opportunity to form partnerships with people who are better than you at those things. We can't be good at everything. There was this theory, a couple of decades ago, that people should be sort of well-rounded, and all colleges were looking for kids who were very well-rounded and had a lot of experience in lots of things. But that's basically the sister to multitasking, which we all know is total rubbish at this point. We need to be good at what God made us good at initially, and He spent a lot of time thinking about you and what you are good at and why you need to be that person on this planet. So why try to be everything to all people? We need to focus on our strengths and allow those partnerships in our lives with other people who fill in the gaps where we're not as strong. The other thing about loving and knowing our weaknesses is that it helps us stay humble. And humility, that's a tricky term. People think of it as feeling low about ourselves or not seeing ourselves as very good at what we do. But that's not humility at all. Humility is simply the practice of looking at ourselves clearly in a mirror, of seeing who we are and not blowing it up out of proportion and not squishing it smaller than it is. Knowing our weaknesses helps us have a balanced view of who we are. It helps us to see ourselves with honest eyes. And that is true humility. The other thing about knowing our weaknesses and allowing those things to be in our lives is that it helps us to build our strengths. When we see that we're leaning into a weakness in a situation, if we don't have a chance to partner with someone else right at that moment, we can try and press into a strength that we have. For example, going back to my morning before we were going to church, not a strength of mine to get people out of the house quickly, but it is a strength of mine to be able to motivate and get people going when I've caught a vision for something. So when my husband comes downstairs and says, we got 2 minutes to get out of the house, I can say, hey, I'm going to get on board with that, and I can motivate and inspire and get people out. So I use that strength of mine in that moment. I switch gears into a strength and kind of repurpose it so that it can cover up a weakness of mine and get us out of the house quicker. Those kind of things come up in work, in home, in friendships, in ministry, in the things that we do all over the place in our lives. So will you let yourself follow Jane Eyre's advice to realize that the shadows in your life are just as important as the light? Will you allow that to build partnerships, to open space for partnerships in your life? Will you allow that to cultivate true humility so that you can have an honest view of yourself? And will you allow that to help you push into your strengths more strategically? I hope you will, and I'm looking forward to hearing your comments and ideas on this topic. My information's at the end of the video. I'd love to hear more from you. Have a great day.